Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Hello, I'm Charlene Schmidt.
I'm Patrick Schmidt.
And we're gonna punch in and talk about TKO, episode 14 of season 1 of Babylon 5. And you guessed it, it's time to babble for 5. So, we're going to talk about Rocky in space today.
Nice, yes.
No, not good. Let me just be perfectly honest and say that this is not my favorite episode.
Why not?
Okay, this has happened on other shows before, and I don't feel like it translates very well. I'm pretty much just waiting in this episode for the moment of, if I can change, we can all change. That's the only thing that was missing in this whole dang thing.
Yeah, they just took the plot of Rocky IV, turned it into an episode of Babylon 5.
Right, so instead of defeating the commies, it's we've got to have the weakling human who's not supposed to be able to defeat the big, strong alien. And lo and behold, he holds his own in the fight, and of course he's the hero of the day, and I don't know, USA, USA, right?
Yeah. Was that alien on steroids, though? That's the big question.
Probably. I'm not thoroughly digging this whole thing, except for the dynamic between Walker Smith and Michael Garibaldi. They seem to have a really good rapport. They're good friends. Their chemistry was really fun to watch. But the fighting in and of itself...
It was definitely a forced storyline, but I think it would be really interesting to see Walker Smith come back again. Because it sounds like he and Garibaldi have a history. Maybe they were in some wartime stuff together. It would be interesting to bring him back, not just to learn more, but to see him fight in a militaristic sense, not in a boxing sense.
Oh.
If he's the best he's ever seen, maybe that means more than boxing.
I could see him in a Star Fury. So what really interests me in this episode is not the boxing plot, obviously. I've made that clear. It's there for levity because now we're going to talk about the real serious stuff. We're going to talk about people dying and dealing with grief and other heavy issues. But what happens with Susan and Uncle Yokel, I think, is incredibly good stuff. If you think about it, Babylon 5 is just this spinning can of metal out there, but it takes a little while for things to get back and forth there, and it is kind of its own little world. You can get a little isolated, I think.
And here we have a little bit more of Ivana's backstory and about kind of who she is and where she's from, and that's really helping to kind of flesh out her character, her background, and understand why she is the way she is, why she's so focused and driven the way she is.
Yes, and apparently very good at burying her emotions because she didn't even tell Sinclair that her dad died. Dang.
You could kind of tell that Sinclair was maybe a little perturbed by that. I think he was surprised but not surprised.
He had like that little moment of initial shock. Oh, that happened? Of course it did. That's how he processed it. Yeah, you could read that too. That was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But he's still there. He's still supportive. He's there as her friend. I mean, obviously it didn't hurt him too badly. And also interesting, in my opinion, is just this complicated relationship Susan had with her father. We kind of knew a little bit that they had a rocky relationship, that maybe they didn't have the best relationship. But we get more details here.
I would have loved to have seen this episode and Uncle Yokel.
Uncle
Yokel.
Uncle Yokel. Okay.
Uncle Yos.
Uncle Yokel. Yeah. Side note.
Yeah.
I know his name is like Eeyore in the boxing plot, but I kept hearing Eeyore, Eeyore, which is not exactly the strongest name for a fighter. So we'll call that one a little even, huh?
So when they're getting ready to go on the transport to Earth, it would have been really cool for her to be seeking Shiva in Russia on Earth, and I would have loved to have seen Earth at this time. I keep waiting for that episode because I do think there's some dynamics happening on Earth that would be really interesting to explore by having someone there and seeing it through their eyes rather than seeing it through a screen. But that didn't happen. So instead we got the little 10 by 10 room with some candles, and that was that.
Right, in a room of extras that we'll probably never see again. Yeah, unfortunately, the budget, I'm sure, did not allow for a trip to Earth, but that would have been really cool. So as a fan of Ivanova, I'm really happy that she actually grieved her father and managed to forgive him a little bit. That way she can officially start to move on.
So let me jump into my big takeaway from this episode.
Do it.
Which is, when I write down notes for this episode, we both take notes during an episode. I wrote down one word and one word only, and that word was Zima.
Apparently, Zima lives on in the future.
Who knew?
Well, I think that does it for TKO. We're gonna punch out now, and we have a big announcement to make. We are officially a part of the Nerd Party Network. Woohoo!
Dance, dance.
Now,
Dance,
you might
dance.
have noticed that we've been on this platform the entire time that we've been doing this vidcast, but this is the first recording where we know that we are officially members of the Nerd Party. So many thanks to the Nerd Party for hosting us and giving us distribution and a place to call Babble for 5 home. We are also the very first vidcast to regularly be on and publishing on the Nerd Party, so we're really honored and we're really excited to be a part of that.
If you like what we do, you're going to like a lot of the things that the Nerd Party does. So check it out.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything. We've got Harry Potter, we've got Star Wars, we've got Star Trek, we've got Doctor Who, and more. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure to let us know in the comments. Give us a like, do the subscribe thing, and make sure you turn on notifications and hit the bell. And then that way you know when we publish a new video every Sunday and Wednesday. And of course, as always, please be cognizant for the newbies to not publish spoilers ahead of this episode.
Thank you very much.
So thanks in advance, and thanks very much everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.